1. In the toughest time. 2. Business model. 3. Absorb knowledge. 4. Freshman. 5. Sophomore. 6. Junior. 7. Senior. 8. Escape the hustle and bustle. 9. Overlook. 10. Come cheap. 11. Peak season. 12. Die for. 13. Retain. 14. Remote area. 15. Adventurous feeling. 16. On top of your list. 17. Privately owned. 18. Smoke-free industry. 19. Troublesome. 20. Interpreter.
Part 1. Topic: People you work, study with.
1. Who do you spend most of your time working, studying with?
Well, now I'm working in a family business, and every day I spend most of my time working with my uncle. He's my role model as he always seems to know what to do even in the toughest times. Working with him helps me become more mature every day.
2. What kinds of things do you study, work with other people?
Now, my work takes up about 80% of my time in a day, and my family is running a few restaurants. So I mainly work with people about things related to cooking, customer service. Sometimes I do a bit of marketing, but it just isn't really my strength.
3. Are there times when you study, work better by yourself?
There are quite a lot, actually. When I read about developing our business model or some new recipes, I find it easier to learn things if I'm alone. I just need time to focus and absorb the knowledge, you know.
4. Is it important to like the people you work, study with?
Personally, I'd say it's not really important because I tend to take personal and work-related stuff separately. I just care about the results that my staff can bring, even when their lifestyle or personality annoys me sometimes.
Part 2. Describe a tourist attraction that you enjoyed visiting. You should say what this tourist attraction is, when and why you visited it, what you did there, and explain why you enjoyed visiting this tourist attraction. Well, when talking about a tourist attraction, the first thing that pops up in my mind is Dalat, a beautiful mountainous city in the middle of Vietnam. This city is quite far from Saigon as it takes people about 7 to 8 hours to get there by bus or car. I first visited this city about 7 years ago, when I was a sophomore in university. Since then, I've been to this city about 5 or 6 times already, but I've gotten bored with it. This place is perfect for those who want to escape the hustle and bustle of big cities and find some peace in their mind and soul. When going to this city, the first thing to do is find an accommodation. There are several homestays and hotels overlooking magnificent mountains or the whole city. Anyway, they don't really come cheap all the time, especially in peak seasons. The best thing about this city is the weather. You can experience all 4 seasons within a day in this city. Spring in the morning, summer at noon, autumn in the afternoon, and winter in the evening. There are a bunch of places to visit in this city. The Bao Dai Palace, the Strawberry Farm, the Lang Biang Peak. The food there is also something you should try. Some dishes like grilled pancake, grilled chicken's organs are to die for. In general, Dalat is a tourist attraction that I've recommended to a lot of people because of all the great things there. It's better to avoid peak season so that we can enjoy everything there to its fullest.
Part 3. Topic: Different kinds of tourist attractions. 1. What are the most popular attractions in your country?
From what I know, Vietnam is famous for its traditions, and that's why the popular attractions here are mainly museums, galleries, ancient towns, or any places that still retain an old, traditional appearance. Maybe tourists have had enough of shopping malls in their hometown, so it's not something they look for when visiting Vietnam.
2. How do the types of tourist attractions that young people like to visit compare to those that older people like to visit?
I think the biggest difference lies in the experience that they want to have. For example, young people often choose some dynamic, modern, crowded cities to visit when traveling abroad, or sometimes they can choose to visit a remote area to get some sort of adventurous feeling. However, old people usually prefer places linked with history and traditions. That's why places like museums are often on top of their list.
3. Do you think that some tourist attractions, for example, museums, galleries, should be free to visit?
It depends. If that attraction is sponsored by the government or some organizations, people can consider making it free. However, if the attraction is privately owned, then going free isn't a good option because the owners have a lot of expenses to cover, and they themselves also need money to run the business.
Topic 2. The importance of international tourism.
1. Why is tourism important to your country?
The reasons are simple. It brings jobs and money. And in fact, tourism has contributed quite a great deal to our GDP. This smoke-free industry has created thousands of jobs for our people. A lot of people will go hungry if we don't have tourism, you know.
2. What are the benefits to individuals of visiting another country as tourists?
I think the biggest benefit is that we can be treated as guests. Another benefit is that local people may be more open to share things about cultures and traditions with tourists. I'm not sure, but I think it's the case in some places.
3. How necessary is it for tourists to learn the language of the country they visit?
It depends on who they are. If they are rich enough to hire an interpreter or have a local friend, then it's not necessary to learn the language. But if they have neither of those, then they should learn some basics of the language, like greetings, asking for prices to make communication easier. Having no interpreters and not knowing the language combined can be quite troublesome when going to a new country.